Beagle, my father is Michael Beagle, my mother is Diane Beagle, and Billie Holiday are all present. We are doing a little interview session, quarantine sessions, we'll call them. Love the quarantine sessions.
All right.
Perfect. I'm just going to ask Dad some questions about where he grew up, and there's some biography questions that might make this a fun project. So why don't you start, Dad? Create a word portrait of yourself.
What? Good heavens. You serious?
No, I'm not.
Good. Okay, that's a good start.
Gotcha. Why don't you start by describing where you were born and where you grew up? And that's it.
I don't remember.
You don't remember where you were born?
No,
Well,
that's a long
thank you
time
very
ago.
much for listening. And
I was born in St. Petersburg, Florida, sometimes known as St. Pete. At that time that I was born, it was known as Nature's Waiting Room.
oh dear.
Because everybody there was getting ready to die but me. No, the age triangle was turned upside down. Totally, it really was. Which didn't make it great for kids. You know, there wasn't that much to do, maybe as there could have been. But it was a good place to grow up. I enjoyed it. You know.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did. St. Pete was a cool town.
What year were you born?
1939, January, beginning of the year.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You've talked about some family stuff and dinners and mango trees and descriptive things like that. So just, what's your first thought of like the house that you grew up in? What do you think of?
Mango trees.
Yeah? It's great.
The first thing I think of, okay, let's see. My mom had a washing machine that had to have been made in 1910. It was a big copper tub on a swivel, and when you turned it on, it flew around in circles. If you got close to it, you were dead. Absolutely incredible. Then you stopped it when it was done, and you had to put it through a wringer into the rinse, and that's how she washed clothes. And then took them out and hung them on the line, which I used to help her do every Monday. Monday was wash day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What did you help her do?
Hang up the clothes when I got tall enough. Yeah. And right in that backyard where the clothesline was where the septic tank drained, and the grass was magnificent. It was huge. It got really high. So during the war, I can remember this. Maybe the Korean War. My mom would hook me up to the lawnmower with a rope, and she'd push and I'd pull, and we'd get through. Whoa! That's how we got through the high grass.
She would connect you to the lawnmower?
Yeah. Put ropes on, and I'd run. Yeah.
Is that when Papa was in the war?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume he would have taken care of it if he was there.
I guess so. Yeah.
He was gone from 1942 until 45, and then from during the Korean War, 50 to 52, something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry, World War II and Korean War.
Yep.
Wow.
Did both.
How about that?
Yeah, he was. He came home maybe twice on leave in World War II in 3 years, and I saw him twice.
Wow.
I can remember one time. Well, there are pictures. The reason I remember, he was. I had a boat, a little toy sailboat that had a winch on it, and he was fixing the winch for me. And there's a picture of him standing in the breezeway before it was enclosed. It was just screens, and he's in there fixing my boat, and I'm standing out in front with my sister. I remember that.
So I know he was a CD at some point. Was that was
World War II.
World War II. Where was he deployed or sent? Or
He was World War II. He was in the Philippines.
in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tacloban Bay. There was a battle there, and they never talked about it. I don't know what he did. They had to go. They went in first. The Seabees went in first and cleared runways and everything. And it was a tough job. He never talked about it. I don't really know what he did. Second time he was on a minesweeper off the Korean coast during the Korean War. Yeah, a wooden hull boat. You've seen pictures of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wooden hull because the magnetic mines would attach to a metal hull of the ship. Never talked about that either. They really didn't. But we were all proud of him. Yeah, he looked great in his uniform.
So after he came back, then he went to school and became a social worker?
Yeah, well, he went to, let's see, it must have started right after the Korean War, St. Pete Junior College. he only went through the 10th grade in high school,
Great.
and he took a GED test to get his equivalency in. But yeah, the best one that they had on record at St. Pete Junior College, he aced it.
No kidding.
Yeah. So he went through St. Pete Junior College and graduated, and he took part in, of course, he was one of the older people. He was a GI Bill guy, and he got really really good with the young kids, and they did a musical show. And he wrote a song and sang it and played guitar with Janet Ruth Crockett, who was the daughter of Dick Crockett. He was a saxophone player, band leader in St. Pete, played at the Coliseum in St. Pete.
Okay.
And his daughter, Janet Ruth, became fairly well known. She sang with, she was the Seal Test Circus majorette, head majorette in the Seal Test Circus. Really, it was a national program. She came in. And her sister, Frankie, sang with Richard Maltby's band. She was a really good vocalist.
Okay.
Anyway, so they
he
did
was
this
an
show,
older
and he wrote a
Richard.
book. He wrote a song called there was a campaign going on for the Senate between Claude Pepper and Frank Smathers. Okay.
Yes.
Claude Pepper and Frank Smathers. He wrote a song called "Vote for Smepper."
Okay.
And sang it at this assembly, and it went like this. I can't remember the whole thing, but it went, "Vote for Smepper, vote for Smepper. He's the best politician in the land. Vote for Smepper, vote for Smepper. He'll really do it if you vote for Smepper. Vote for Smepper. He will bring you a sandwich if he can." That's pretty close to that. Yeah, the Smepper song.
So Papa wrote that?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing. So he had music background too, Papa?
Not any training. Yeah, he played tenor guitar, which was a 4-string guitar.
Okay.
That was tuned like a banjo, like a tenor banjo. And he played that, and he played. I don't think he played a uke, but he played some piano. He used to play right hand. I played left hand. We just jam stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a good voice, could sing in tune and everything. Yeah.
That's great.
And my mom, both of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember Nana singing all the time. Everything had a song.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Papa's side. So Nana was from Georgia?
She's from Butler, Georgia. Butler, as they
Butler.
say in Butler. Yeah, it's a really small town near Macon, Georgia.
Okay.
I spent one summer, I think, there. Just one, during the Korean War. My dad was gone, so I spent the summer with my great aunt in Butler, Aunt Maud, and Uncle BJ. Uncle BJ owned a dry cleaning plant. They were not wealthy, but they did well.
Okay.
And they had a house, had a peach tree and a pecan tree in the front yard. So fresh pecan pie and fresh peach pie. Yeah.
So stereotypical.
Yeah, they were
Georgia.
so nice to me. It was my great aunt.
Aw.
So nice to me. Yeah. Had a wonderful time. And she was the town telephone operator, Aunt Maud.
Oh.
An old switchboard. So I used to go in there, and once in a while I would take her place. People
really?
would say, "Huh? Who's this?" First thing you have to do is ring. The switchboard would ring. The little thing would buzz, and then you plug in and you say number, because Aunt Maud, she knew immediately knew who everybody was and what they were calling, and So I plugged the stuff in, and yeah, it was fun. Had a great summer.
How old were you?
I must have been about 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a kid there, an older kid. I have no idea who he was or how I managed to get into his 1949 Ford with him. Then he did donuts around his field. And I love that. That was fantastic. Went to there was a community swimming pool I went to and went swimming, and that was fun. And and of course there was the Georgia camp meeting. Oh dear. Yeah. You know what a Georgia camp meeting is?
I don't.
Well, it's in a tent, and they're evangelicals, and they have two preachers. So there was maybe a couple hundred people in the tent, and there were two preachers that worked shifts, and they just chant. And and so a couple of rows in front of me, this kid about my age, he had red hair. Remember, he jumped up in the air and started speaking in tongues.
Ooh. Were they Baptists?
Primitive Baptist.
Okay. Like a
So,
revival.
yeah, exactly. That's what it was. An old-fashioned revival, Georgia tent meeting. So while this kid was jumping around and yelling and stuff, my Uncle BJ looked over at me and said, "What do you think about that?" Yeah, Aunt Maud was, of course, she was totally into it. So, and then those relatives around. Reynolds, Georgia was another place where I had relatives. there was one family, I don't remember their names. I can't remember their names, but good Lord, they lived in this house, and they had a pump in the front yard. I mean, like a well. That's where they got their drinking water. And I mean, it was really, man, there was some, yeah, they're very nice people, but they were very Georgia, very Georgia. Amazing. Aunt Salamati, that was her name. Aunt Salamati. I swear to God, her name was Salamati. Yes.
Good heavens.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was Butler.
Okay.
That was Butler.
How did Nana and Papa meet?
My dad migrated. His family migrated to Florida, I think in 1925, if I'm not mistaken. But they migrated to Florida, drove to Florida in a Model T Ford with a trailer that my grandfather had built. Everything they owned. And the trailer broke, the axle broke on the trailer, so they had to leave it by the highway and took everything they could load from that onto the car. That's what they had, everything they owned. So my Uncle Bob got mad at him. I think it was maybe in North Carolina or something, and just left. That's it, I'm done. Uncle Bob, I'm out of here. And then a week later, they saw him hitchhiking in Georgia or something. And they just pulled over and stopped. And he got in the car, and not a word was said. Off they went. Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
It took them 2 months to get there.
From
Pennsylvania to Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 months. Yeah. Yeah, some of the roads were like logs laid across,
Sure.
boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
There
Plus,
had to be more swampy areas.
yeah. Well, they were mountains. Tyrone had mountains.
Wow.
Yeah. If you went up a hill in the Model T Ford, they had the gas tank was in front of you, like where the dashboard is.
Okay.
And it was gravity fed into the engine. There was no fuel pump. It was gravity. It just poured in there. And if you're going uphill, it would stop. You have to turn around and back up the hill to keep the gas flowing. Yeah. Wow. Now, how they did that with the trailer, I always wondered, but yeah, that's what you had to do.
Good Lord.
And my mom's family, they migrated from Butler when she was in the 8th grade, I think. She went to Mirror Lake Junior High. That's as far as she went to school, was the 8th grade. Let's see. My grandfather, that I never met, died in 1935, was a guard, a prison guard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My mom talks about sleeping at the prison at times. So they had big bags of beans that she would go sleep on.
Really?
Yeah. I got to find that tape sometime. Let's listen to that. My God, my mom doing the same thing.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. He was an alcoholic. He died of alcoholism, my grandfather. Apparently, he was a wonderful man. My mom never had anything but good to say about him. Apparently. And she had her youngest sister. The youngest in the family was, or she the youngest? Aunt Jessie. And she had a sister named Jessie Lou. And then her brother, Herschel Haskell, Hollis, Hiki, Hockel, and Hookie Wookie. I can't remember their names. Haskell Hill, Herschel Hollis, or Hollis Haskell. I don't know. One of those things. Yeah. So they met in a laundry. Freshwater laundry? Remember? I think that was the name of it. Folding sheets.
Really?
Yeah, bring my mom every time.
Oh, that's right. I've heard this.
Yeah.
Good Lord. You remember that? Every time?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yep. And they got married, and the year I don't know, I don't remember. But my sister was born, and then the house that I was born in, I was a year old when they moved into the house in 3400 17th Street.
Oh, wow.
I was a year old. So 1940, that house was built. My father had been, he was working as a diesel mechanic for the city of St. Petersburg on a big power plant. They had a municipal power plant. They supplied all the electricity for the city from that power plant. There was no Florida power then.
Okay.
Just St. Petersburg. He worked in there maintaining these big, huge machines. I mean, I couldn't believe them. I was a kid, of course, but they were a good story high, absolutely. And they had big, huge flywheels on them that you'd start. They had a pneumatic hammer that you put in a groove on the flywheel and hit it, and then it would. And you kept doing it until it would catch. And it would, yeah. Well, something fell, I think a bushing fell on his leg from a good height, and from the shin, it messed up his leg really bad. They put a steel plate in his leg. Yeah. So that's what he was doing. My grandfather worked for the city. Pappy, he worked for the city. I don't know what he did early on, but he wound up being the guy that changed the light bulbs in the street lights.
Really?
Yeah. He had a guy named Luther Falk that drove the truck, and he rode in the truck, and then he'd stop when there was a light burned out. There was big incandescent bulbs. They'd stop, and he'd get out and raise the ladder. They had a ladder, pull the rope, and then he'd climb up there. He was 70 when he was doing this.
No.
Yeah.
This is Pappy Beagle.
Pappy, yeah. Wow. And Luther Falk was in his 40s. But Pappy was the one that went up and changed the bulbs, yeah. And he worked 5 years past mandatory retirement. They let him stay 5 extra years.
Wow.
Yeah. I think he was 75 when he retired. Mammy was the matriarch. Absolutely. She kept the family together. She really did. She was incredible. She was from Pennsylvania, from Tyrone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be entertained by Michael and Samuel. June the 16th, 1957, Sunday.
My mom's side of the family, like I said, my grandfather died before I was born. Mamu was deeply religious. She had spirituality. She really did. She was either one half or more Creek Indian. She had been adopted when she was a baby by a white family in Meridian, Mississippi, and raised. And she lived there a time in New Orleans. I don't know how that happened, but she was in New Orleans living, and she carried a pistol, and a man attempted to rape her, and she shot him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, indeed. She sure did. New Orleans was like lawless. Yeah.
Did you say Creek or Creek?
Creek with a K.
Okay.
Creek.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. She was a tough lady. No question about that. She lived to be 93, I think.
Wow.
When she applied for Social Security in '65, she didn't have a birth certificate. They had no idea when she was born.
No kidding.
So they did an investigation, and she wanted to prove she was 65. Turned out she was 70. She was 5 years older than she thought.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine that going through your life.
Yep. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
She was something. I mean, I really loved her. She was the person that could make me feel better when I was sick, always.
Yeah.
Bird soup, chicken noodle soup, and then we'd sing her church songs, you know.
Yeah, like what? What's one of them?
On the Jericho Road.
You want to sing it first?
On the Jericho Road. I couldn't help it. It just came out. My southern came out. No, I'm not going to sing that.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was a really nice lady, nice old lady.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, both sides. How old did Mammy live until what age?
Oh, she was in her 80s.
Oh, in her 80s.
She died of emphysema.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because Nana B lived till
1.
95?
Yep.
Yeah.
She would have lived longer.
Was 90. And then Mommy was 93.
Mm-hmm.
So this is me. Like, I'm going to be 107.
Yep, that's right.
So,
Yep.
fine.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yep, live with it.
Great.
Yeah. So, my childhood was good. It was really good. We didn't have anything, but we didn't know it.
Yeah.
You know.
How about that?
Yeah. of course, things were a lot different then. A lot of people didn't have anything, or didn't have much. Yeah, and we were very happy with it. I can remember one birthday, my mom wanted to know what I wanted for my birthday. I said I wanted a whole quart of milk to myself.
Oh, wow.
Because I can only drink a little bit at a time. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
And she thought, oh, she got all emotional and said, yes, you can have a quart of milk for your birthday. We had clothes, we had everything we needed, always.
Was Nana always a Sunday school teacher? Did she?
Let's see. No, not when I was a kid. No, she wasn't. Let's see, Woodlawn Presbyterian Church. How did she wind up there? Her family was Methodist in Georgia. I think they might have been charter members of the church. It was a brand new church, not too far from their house. And my mom recruited members, went around and knocked on doors, and that's how she met Dot Russell. Remember, Dot? She recruited her to go to Woodlawn.
No kidding.
Yeah, and I don't know if she taught Sunday school back then or not. I don't think so. But we went every Sunday. Every Sunday. I had my Sunday school pen. You got a basic pen, and then you got little things to hang on it. And I was always down to my knees. Never missed a Sunday. No, I was there.
So were you baptized a certain religion?
Yeah, Presbyterian. When I was a baby. Yeah. So a church. I never got any kind of spiritual feeling at church ever. No, it didn't exist.
Not like you.
But I did really remember the warm feeling of everybody. They were, especially during the war.
I bet.
They looked after us. So, church. As soon as when I got, let's see, I don't know how old I was, but my dad stopped going, and I said, "Can I stay home and read the funny papers?" He said, "Yep." And that was that. That was the end of my career. Though I do remember that I got roped into being a Sunday school teacher there.
What?
I guess after I graduated from high school, we moved back to St. Pete, and I was going to St. Pete Junior College. I had to teach Sunday school.
Wow.
I had no idea
How'd that
what
go?
to do. I had no idea what to do.
Play your saxophone?
No, I did that when I substitute taught in Virginia Beach. Played for them for an hour. Yeah. No, that was, I don't know how the heck, but it didn't last long.
Yeah.
No, I don't know anything about that stuff, Yeah. I do remember when I was in Sunday school, I can't remember, one of my teachers in Sunday school said, when you say I believe in the Holy Ghost,
Holy Catholic Church, Community Saints.
She says, leave off that Holy Catholic Church part. We won't say that part.
It's
Yeah,
the
really.
doxology at the very end.
And then, of course, when it came time to have you baptized, we were living in St. Pete, and I thought it would be really nice to go to my mom's church. So I spoke to the pastor, and he says, now, what sort of guarantee can you give me that you're going to bring your child to church here? That's what he said to me. I said, oh, no guarantee at all. Thank you very much. And we went to the church by the sea on one of the beaches, I forget, Treasure Island, whatever. I never met this guy before. He had no idea who we were, and I asked if you could be baptized. I said, absolutely, I'd be happy to do it for you. He never knew me from Adam. And here's this church that my mom was in on the founding of, taught Sunday school, sang in a choir.
There you go. That's why I just can't go to church.
I know.
Like that.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about too, though, where you did get baptized, it was UCC, which is what we were.
Oh, right.
All of us.
That's right. It was UCC church. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yep. Of all the Protestant denominations, I think UCC is probably the best. In my experience, we had that brief time that we went to church in Bainbridge Island with Reverend Eisenhower, right?
Yep.
A woman, female, and that was an old church. It had to be a couple hundred years old. Very small congregation, and she never failed to welcome everybody, regardless of your sexual preference or your race or your religion. Don't worry about it. You're welcome here.
Wow.
It was a very diverse congregation.
Yep.
Is it similar to the Universal Unitarian Church?
I think it's more traditional.
More traditional.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unitarian Church doesn't believe in anything.
I know. That's why I gravitated towards
My
that.
sister-
I was like, oh.
My
and it's
sister
funny
was,
that Aunt Margie's into it.
She was.
Yeah.
I don't know if she still is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the chaplains I hung out with when I went to Rhodes Remember when I was
yeah.
somehow hanging out with the chaplains
Yeah, oh,
the
yeah,
entire
right,
time?
yeah,
Yeah, I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, this is not what I expected.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the
right.
Canadian and the chaplains.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were Universal Unitarian. That makes sense now. And
Well,
these-
you know, speaking of that, Protestant churches, everything that you see and hear on the news is just, the Christian church is just absolutely sold out. You know, I don't know what the hell they're thinking. But not all of them. Not all of them. Because we went to that vigil in York, remember? At the courthouse, and I don't remember it was one of the killings or something, I don't know, but they had a vigil.
It was the Charlottesville.
Yes.
It was. And they had 5 or 6 different denominations of Protestant ministers, and every one of them had the right message, every single one of them.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
nice.
So it's not all of them. The fundamentals, the evangelicals, they're off the charts. I don't know how they can possibly believe what they believe and then say they believe and then believe in this guy in the White House. It's just not possible. You can't make the two. They can't coexist. Yeah, you can't do both. Sorry. You know?
I want you to tell the story of the circus that used to come through your neighborhood in St. Petersburg.
Oh my God, yeah. The Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus, the
How old
largest
were
in
you?
the world, huh?
At what age were you?
Oh boy, 5 or 6.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the circus parade used to come down 34th Avenue. We lived on 17th Street and 3400 17th Street and 30. Wait a minute.
17th Street and 34th
Yeah,
Avenue.
34th Avenue. What was it? Oh, 16th Street. I'm sorry. Yeah. We lived on 17th and then there were 2 name streets and then 16th Street. That was the main drag.
Okay.
Still is. It was Queen Street and Prescott. And then, yeah. So it was close. It was 4 blocks away, 4 short blocks. So I would walk down there when I was a kid, and during the day, and there was no building, there were no houses there. The lot was vacant on the corner, and I'd get to sit in the weeds and wait for the circus to come. And of course, the circus didn't come because I just thought maybe it would come. And then, of course, it did. I did see the circus there at least once.
That's good.
And the former site of the circus is where our house was built.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's wild.
And they moved it about 6 blocks away, so it was still really close.
Okay.
So I would go down and watch them set up the tent, the roustabouts. You know,
Okay.
do you know what that is?
Nope.
That's the workers that they stand around in a circle. There's maybe 6 of them with sledgehammers, and they sequentially drive in stakes. It's boom, 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 boom. It's amazing to watch. These big, huge iron stakes to hold the tent.
Sure.
The big top.
Yep.
Yeah. And they just, remember Miss a Lick? It's absolutely perfect rhythm all the way around. Still love that. The sound, too.
That's really neat.
Yeah. Never actually got to go to the circus because we didn't have the money.
Oh.
But, yeah, that was all right. I still loved it. Yeah.
The behind the scenes is pretty cool.
Yes, it was.
Nice.
Yeah.